I always tell my students that there are 5 main guitar keys that you need to know, and these keys are C, A, G, E, D. Alright, and you may know this commonly referred to as the caged system, alright, but most people just learn the caged system because it's a system that works. But I want to tell you and explain to you why these 5 keys are so essential to the guitar, right? You may know that there are more than 5 keys in existence, right? There are actually 12 major keys, but in guitar, I would say that these are the 5 keys that you need to know, and the other keys will just come into play once you get a little bit more advanced. But there's a reason why there are only these 5 main keys, and I want to explain it to you. But first, we need to understand what makes a chord. Alright, it doesn't matter if you're in major or minor, but for today, we're just going to talk about the major scale because it's a little bit easier. Now, to make a chord, the most basic chord is called a triad. Now, a triad comprises of 3 notes. That's why it's called a triad. This is the C major scale, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, it's going to be 1, 3, 5. That's what makes your triad 1, 3, and 5. Okay, I didn't mean to do that. 1, 3, 5. Right? That's what makes your triad. Now, in order to form any of these chords that I've just played, be it the C, A, G, E, D, major, minor chord, you need these 3 notes inside, and that's what makes the chord. So first, I'm going to analyze for you the C major chord. Just to give you an example, this is note number 1, do or 1, then you've got 3, 5, and then after that, it starts to repeat. 1, 3, and you can go higher, 5. But basically, in your C major chord, you've only got these 3 notes, and that goes for all the other chords that I'm playing. Now, I want to explain to you that when you play any chord that you know, you are going to be using 4 strings at least, either 4 strings, 5 strings, or 6 strings, and that means that your bass note is going to be on one of these lower 3 strings, right? So let's take a look, and I'll prove my point. All right, E major. You're using 6 strings, right? Your bass note is on the lower string. And same thing goes for G major. Now for how about A major? Right? Your bass is now on the 5th string and you're using 5 strings to play this chord. Same thing for C major, bass is on the 5th string. Now for D major, your bass is now on the 4th string and you're using 4 strings to play the chord. Now, of course, you can form chords using just 3 strings, but that's not very commonly done on the guitar. And there's a good reason for that, because with just 3 notes, it doesn't sound very full, right? So using at least 4 notes is what we are typically doing on the guitar. So now that we've established that we're going to use the bass note on one of these bottom 3 strings, that limits the amount of chords that we can actually play on the guitar. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's take a look at E major. Right? E major, we're starting with the root note, right? And then what's the next note that we've got after the E note, E bass note? This is the next note, right? Now, in the E major scale, this is note number 5. So we're actually 1, 5, right? And then after that we got 1, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1. So we've got 1, we've got 3, we've got 5 inside. That means yes, we're playing a major chord. All good. But the voicing or the arrangement of the note is such that you start with 1 and then you go to 5. Okay? Now let's take a look at the other chord out of those 5 chords where the bass is on the 6th string, and that's going to be G. Right now, our bass is on the 6th string here, 3rd fret. But the next note, this is note number 3 actually. 1, 3, 1, 3, because the G major scale is 1, 2, 3. And then next note after it, 5, 1, 3, 5. So that's how we are forming our triad, because we're starting with 1 and then we're going to 3 next, instead of E major where it's 1, 5, 1, 5. Now it's 1, 3. Okay? So we're not caring about what the other notes are. We're just looking at, of course, we have to start with note number 1. But what's the next note after that? It's going to be either 5 or 3, right? So that's why for our bass note on the 6th string, when we're forming our chord with a bass note on the 6th string, you can only have these 2 options. You can either follow with the 5 after the root note, which is going to be our E major chord, or you can follow with the 3 after the root note, and in this case we need to move our root note up a little bit, alright, so that we have space to grab the 3 after that. 1, 3. You could do 1, 1, but that's not going to be practical on the guitar, because if this is 1, the next 1 on the next string is going to be here. right? So this really far up. Nobody wants to stretch their hands like that ever. All right, so the same concept will apply to all of these lowest bass strings, right? The lowest 3 bass strings. You can play either 1-5 voicing like this, E, which is the 1-5 voicing, or G, which is the 1-3 voicing. Now we've got the A string. For A, the 1-5 voicing is going to be your A major chord, and then your 1-3 voicing would be the C chord, right? 1-3, 1-3, 1-3, 1-3, 1-3. And then for D major, you've got the bass is now on the D string, the 4th string, and you've got 1-5, 1-5. All right, and that's basically it. Now you might be wondering, why don't we have the 1-3 on the 4th string, which is the D string? Well, actually you do. It's like this. 1-3, 1-3, but this is actually an E major chord. Alright, it's actually the same chord. It's just that if you want to get a 1-3 voicing, then you just start by playing on the 4th string. So now that we've got a repetition, right? We've got E, E, so we just have one E. So we've got, with the bass on the 6th string, we've got E major, and then we've got G major. Now with the bass on the 5th string, we've got A major, and we've got C major. Now with the bass on the 4th string, we've just got D major. We can play E major as well, but that's just a repetition of what we'd had earlier. Alright, so that's why you've got these 5 major keys. Now, how do you start to master the guitar? Well, in order to do that, you first need to master all these 5 keys, right? These are what I call the open position keys because they use open strings to play them. Now, I'll give an example. This is how I play a song. I'm going to use the song Peace Like a River, which is a beautiful African-American spiritual. The melody goes like this. I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. And I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. Now I'm gonna play this on fingerstyle or guitar, solo fingerstyle arrangement. This is how it goes. That's an E major. Now you can use the same scales and you need to learn how to play this in G major as well as all the other 5 keys. This is what it sounds like in G major. So that's in G major. Then of course play them in all the other keys, right? A, C, and D. Just one more example. This would be in A major. Right. Now, if you want to learn all of this material, right, how to arrange songs in all these 5 open keys, then you can check out my Fingerstyle for the World guitar course. All right, I've covered how you can understand all of this musical material and arrange your own songs in fingerstyle guitar, solo fingerstyle guitar. And you can play them in all these 5 open keys. Alright, so do check it out. The links are all in the description below. And I hope this has demystified this little cage system. I know it's a little bit heavy on the theory, but once you can wrap your head around it, then yeah, it makes so much sense. Alright, and then you understand why this cage system even exists in the first place. But if you have any questions, please just let me know in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to help you out as best I can. Alright, so I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.